What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We got a really fun game here, and fair warning, if I sound a little bit different, it is because the left half of my face is pretty much numb. Yeah, was at the dentist for a couple hours earlier today. They're fixing some stuff, and yeah, it's very weird right now. I was debating using face cam, because like half my face doesn't even move as I speak, but I embarrass myself enough in front of you guys. I figured let's not do that, any more than we need to. So, what do we have here? Well, surprise, surprise, we've got some good old Red Phosphoru content. Red Phosphoru plaguing the ladder, players running into him and trying to figure out ways to deal with it. And it's not always this way, but usually gloves are off, right? And he's going to come forward, try and steal some resources in lane. He's playing with the Bohemians here, which is one of the OG strategies that Phosphoru played with. One of my back of the old days with the, I say old days, like a year ago when I started to make videos about him, there was actually some nerfs to the Hussite wagon, most likely because of the strategy that he was trying and all that good stuff. And yeah, Phosphoru is coming forward here to try and steal some resources from Kingstone. Kingstone, not really sure which one. I guess they're both right. Kingston is just the much better player here, very accomplished in tournaments, 2,500 elo. And Phosphoru is, oh my god, that was close there. That was very, 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 very close to him cornering himself. He's going to try and steal this boar. I didn't actually know that he was going to try and steal a boar in this game. I saw bits and pieces. I did not know this was happening. So if you watched, I don't know, a week or two ago, I uploaded a video where he stole my boar and he was up against the edge of the map and it was ridiculous and it was crazy. Anyways, he's going to try it here. And Kingston seemingly has an idea that he's pretty trapped in here. So we'll see how this is going to work for Phosphoru. But you live by the sword, you die by the sword, so they say. And the risk of trying to lame is that this can happen. Yeah, he is completely screwed. There is no way. Like, Kingston can just click that scout there. And now he's going for the gate. And yeah, pretty much just needs to click that scout. And he's eventually going to get 2 hits, I believe. And so Phosphoru gets punished for the lame. We'll see. Maybe he can make it home, but usually the other scout can catch up. But yeah, we've got Kingston playing as the Georgians. Now, typically, right, the Georgians, since they've been released, they've dominated maps like Arabia. Their scouts regenerate HP starting in Feudal Age. Well, all their cavalry does. And they also start with the mule cart for free. So they start with the free lumber camp. They have the regeneration. It's just a really, really solid civ. But, we're not going to see Kingston go for the Scout Rush in this game. I wasn't just going to bring you a Scout Rush game. That'd be boring. He has something else in mind. And he, right now, is following Phosphoru and probably like, please give me the extra hit. And he sees the houses, figures the Phosphoru must be nearby, and dodges. So, well played here from Kingston. He might actually be tempted to lame a little bit underneath the TC. Because if he takes some hits, it's not actually that big of a deal because he will regenerate. And Phosphoru's never getting that HP back. But Phosphoru ends up getting the sheep home. And he was also pushing in a deer with the villager here. So he was kind of fully expecting to lose this scout. And seems like he found almost everything here. So that's pretty good for him. Could have been way worse. Anyways, Kingston sees him and Kingston's like, I don't want to go fast castle against Phosphoru. I don't want to go feudal age pressure against Phosphoru. I am going to go for the good old-fashioned douche. Sorry, again, hard to speak when half my face is frozen. So here's Phosphoru. He's chilling. He wants to do his fast castle thing. And guess what? To go fast castle, you're kind of going to need a TC, my friends. And I don't know if he sees this. Maybe he's paying attention to his scout. It almost seems like Phosphoru didn't notice that Kingston just snuck through there. But what he's doing is he's researching Loom, he's going to delete his TC, and he's going to rebuild it right on Phosphoru's face. which is great, right? Because it's like annoying strategy meets annoying strategy. And I remember talking about this a year plus ago, about how maybe this is a really good strategy against him, because he really needs a town center to go Castle Age. And the thing about a player like Phosphoru, while he is very adaptive compared to your average player, he very much adapts on the back of his build order, right? So, his typical fast castle, and then he faces up against a bunch of different things, And then he knows how to adapt from there. This basically takes the fight directly to his base. And sure, this puts Kingston behind in vills. And yes, he's got 11 idols inside of his TC. But Phosphoru has some real decisions to make. And so I saw this and I was like, what's up, YouTube? Right? I was, funnily enough, this is embarrassing. I was actually in the dentist chair. Now, they weren't actively working on my teeth. That would be weird. But basically, you know, they had to give me the numbing stuff before they went to work. And I had a little bit of time to kill. I had like 20 minutes. So naturally, what am I going to do? I'm going to watch Age of Empires. It was a little embarrassing, too. The dentist asked me what I did for a living. I told him what I did. He said what game. I told him Age of Empires. He didn't know what that was. He thought it was a mobile game. It was a whole thing. But anyways, gloves are off here. Kingston's going to shoot this TC down. And Phosphoru realized, I think, correctly, that he probably wasn't going to make it to feudal. So he actually canceled feudal to make a couple more vills. Now he doesn't have a TC. It's been a while since I have made TC rushing videos because players like Rubenstock have pretty much retired. They don't do this much anymore. But basically, the best thing you can do once you shoot your opponent's TC down is to try and rush them. Because then you could produce vills, and they can't produce vills, right? Anyways, credit to Phosphoru. Phosphoru loses that TC, and he's just going to build another one. But what he doesn't have is his berries now, which typically he puts a lot of villagers on. And now Kingston says, hey, guess what, Phosphoru? I'm going to do this again. Oh, man. Again, you can picture this. I've got my little, like, dentist bib on, you know, whatever they call it. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm cackling as we're waiting for the meds to kick in. And Phosphoru's in a really rough spot. He's trying to drop off food from these farms to click up to feudal. And the other thing that he typically relies on is lots of gold. So if he gets to gold and stone, he can use that market and figure it out. Like, he probably wants to go fast castle. He probably wants to drop wagons. Maybe if not that, he's going to go monks. He's got some options. But he needs to have a TC to make it up through the ages. So, Phosphoru, he's under all this pressure. Now, just like I always say when someone is up against Phosphoru's all-ins, Phosphoru should recognize now himself, well, my opponent's eco is probably not all that good right now. So resources collected, Phosphoru's collected 700 more. And he is just, like, gonna give up this TC. Now, he did lose his scout at some point. I missed that. I apologize. I think this... Yeah, it looks like this scout ended up killing it. But he did already scout this gold. Now, that's pretty interesting because right now, Kingston's thinking I'm taking his main gold. I can keep an eye on a secondary gold. Maybe keep an eye on this gold. But he's not going to look for the 3-tile golds. So Phosphoru finding gold is usually pretty dangerous. But repairing a town center is really expensive. And Phosphoru is going to have to deviate. He's going to have to change his plans. Look at that. He was actually scalding with sheep. Kingston says, I'll take that. Thank you very much. You're not going to get that 200 food. And so I'm sitting there in my dentist chair. And I'm just thinking... Well, what is Phosphoru going to do from here? Because he's completely cooked. He can't do his normal build. He's gonna have to do his normal build. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Kingston is stealing his farms. Kingston is pissed. Did you see that? Here, I'm going to go back. I actually, as much as I love Phosphoru doing this crazy stuff against so many people, I also respect people who are like, oh, you want to play crazy? Okay, I can play crazy. Look at this. This is intentional. Kingston comes in. He clicks the farm, steals it, deletes it. Was going to actually do the same with the rest of the farms, but then Phosphoru deleted them. Which, I mean, that's fine from Kingston. He was going to delete it himself anyways. But yeah, anyways, I'm sitting there at the dentist chair, and I'm just like, will Phosphoru actually make archers? I've never once seen him make an archer. I've seen him make archer unique units. I'm sure he's made archers. You know, he played a lot of games that I haven't seen, especially before he started this whole build. But yeah, he's going to make archers now. Which is the correct play because Kingston is still in Dark Age. And instead of TC dropping again, the Kingston is actually on the way to feudal. So, Kingston's going to have his work cut out for him. I really liked his scout. So he sees the archer range. He knows it's going to be archers. And now Phosphoru needs a new TC. And he is going to try and TC here for some reason. I don't know. This is like... I think this is kind of what Kingston wants right now. Kingston wants some messiness, but also at the same time, maybe he doesn't because there's archers out for him. Also, this scout for Kingston, it will regenerate in feudal. So if he keeps that alive, that'll become helpful again. Yeah, Phosphoru just seems very confused, and he's going to quickly drop a blacksmith and a house. Blacksmith is cheap for the Bohemians, and then also fletching is 100 food, 50 gold, which he can afford. So Phosphoru is just like, okay, I'm just not, I guess we're just not going to have a TC. I've seen YOLO archers beat the TC drop before, because there's like villagers over here you can find. There's obviously the forward villagers you can find. Kingston is attacking with 13 villagers against this blacksmith, trying to deny the fletching upgrade. Maybe thinking that it's expensive to repair as well for Phosphoru, but it shouldn't actually be that expensive to repair because the blacksmith is cheap, funnily enough. Because the cost of repairing is based on the cost of the actual building. He's kind of buying himself a little bit of time, and the question now is, what is Kingston going to do? He's buying time for what? Look at him pull the weak vills away. He still wants to take out that blacksmith. He thinks he's brilliant right now, I think. He's like, oh, he's sinking so much wood into repairs. It's really not that convincing from this side of things. And so Kingston doesn't have a lot on food, but he has more on food than Phosphoru, and he has a TC to produce vills. He's going to drop an archer range for a couple skirms. Keep in mind, these vills have always been on food. These vills always freely on wood. And Kingston didn't really lose too much this game. He didn't lose a single villager. Crazy how good he's looked. And Phosphoru now has got 5 archers that he's going to have to micro big time. But this is not a situation that he's used to. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. And he has been thoroughly punched in the face twice. Here he'll micro his archers. Here he's microing his archers. And finally, Phosphoru, with his good micro, is going to end up getting close to a couple Vill picks here. You can see there was a slight misclick, but he kills a Vill. Scout now has been regenerating. Scout's going to come over, and Scout's going to kill the archer. And Phosphoru just taps out. I think the TC as well. Funny, I just missed it, but I saw it while I was on my dentist chair. I'm pretty sure the TC killed an archer at some point, which I remember thinking was sloppy. Yeah, right here. Okay, so that Vill was being attacked. It was much earlier, my bad. So yeah, Phosphoru just a little wasteful with his archers. I think if he had 7 or 8 archers right now with fletching, if he got them out a little bit faster, I think there's actually some problems for Kingston potentially, because Kingston can't easily afford a lot. But yeah, Kingston said, all right, Phosphoru, you want to kill people fast, huh? I'm going to kill you even faster. And that was a very, very short game, but I thought a funny game. And yeah, like, this is what I want, right? This is what I would love. I would love for this counter to Phosphoru to catch on. And then Phosphoru's got to adapt in a way, like build little palisade walls or houses like people try and do to block TCs. I mean, just like everything that could deviate from that, I think that'd be super funny. I don't know if this is the right play all the time. I think Georgians are certainly the best at it. Or obviously them are Persians. But like Kingston sent a lot to wood very early on. It felt like he was intending on doing this much faster than other civs could. And yeah, kind of a funny game. So again, kind of a weird one, kind of a short one. Hope you guys enjoyed anyways. And if you enjoyed this, leave a comment and leave a like. And let me know that all my, the 2 to 3 days of 10 to 12 hours of recording videos for over Christmas break or whatever else was worth it. Because if you're not watching this and enjoying this, I probably shouldn't have spent all those days doing that, especially when half of my face is numb. I expect you guys will have fun. Thank you guys. See you in the next one. Have a good one.